All right, welcome into the video. It is a great day to be a Colts fan, and even better day to be a fan of Jeff Saturday. This is Third and Wrong. My name is Dylan. I usually have two other hosts with me, Mike and Gage. If you know them, they're just busy. They're working, doing school, all that good stuff. So it's just me again today, like it has been for a while. This video is going to be really good, though. At least I think it's going to be really good. We're going to talk about Jeff Saturday, talk about the haters, but also get real about the Colts. So enjoy this quick intro video. But before we do, drop a like, drop a comment, and if you haven't already, subscribe.
I lost gang members, I can't act cool. I got gang scriptures in my tattoos. I was running from the police in my trap shoes. Posted trying to flip 100, I come back fool. Come from nothing, but I blossomed to a tycoon. Betrayal scars, can't stop thinking about them stab wounds. We might not catch him today, but he gon' die soon.
All right, getting into the video here. Like I said, we are going to be talking about the Colts and Jeff Saturday today. I'm very pumped up about it because we got some receipts. But other than that, I am a little bit sick. I'm coming off some sort of cold. I've been taking pseudoephedrine, so hopefully it's a little bit more clear while I'm talking and I'm not sniffling or coughing too much today. The other thing too is, like I said before, I'm by myself, and sometimes it's a little harder to keep a conversation going. But I'm going to try and give you some energy today and get pumped about Jeff Saturday. So, real quick before we get into everything, I do want to say Saturday is for the winners, just like the title says. So, anyways, what a week. I almost put a video out on Saturday before the game about Jeff Saturday. And I do have the video there, but I just did not release it, mainly because I didn't get it finished. My kid kind of kept me up and also interrupted the video quite a few times and had some, technical issues. Sorry, I can't cut that out because I suck at editing, so all the mistakes in here are just gonna stay. But what I wanted to talk about with Jeff Saturday is everyone and almost everyone. There's some people that came to his defense, but almost everyone laughed at the decision of Jim Irsay to fire Frank Reich and go for Jeff Saturday. Now, in my video, I explained the whole backstory behind it, the history of it all, and stuff like that, and I could put that video out later on. But essentially, what the whole deal was is Jim Irsay was sick of losing to the Jaguars, sick of losing the first home game, sick of losing to the Patriots, sick of not having a good offense at all, sick of seeing Matt Ryan, who he paid $20 million a year, get sacked 40 times. So Jim Irsay was sick of it, thought that the best move was to give Frank Reich a second shot. They fired Marcus Brady. That didn't work, so they fired Frank Reich because of how abysmal the Colts were against the New England Patriots, which is a bitter rival that we are the little brother in. So definitely not a good look, and definitely just one of those moments where the move just had to be done. I actually texted Gage and Mike that Frank Reich was going to be the second coach fired this year behind Matt Rule in the middle of the third quarter against the Patriots before we actually even scored 3 points. So not like a full-on prediction, but just something that I saw coming with that game. It was just that bad. So anyways, Jim Irsay moves on. I'm sure most of you know the story. Most of you probably know all the receipts out there. One of the things I'm probably going to do is I'm going to, hopefully if I have some time in the next couple days, add in the quotes in the caption of this video. So look at those if you're seeing this a few days after this video is released. If it's right when it's released, it's probably not going to be up there. But yeah, not a lot of people like Jeff Saturday getting this job. One is because Frank Reich, had 5 new quarterbacks each year, or 1 new quarterback each year for 5 years, right? But there's also just an attitude that I feel like Frank has that I don't agree with, which it almost just seems like he's okay with getting backed into a corner because he knows that's where he's going to be able to fight best. But in this league, you got to come out fighting every single game. You got to start off 1-0, 2-0. Like, you have to do that every single year if you want to be in the consistent Super Bowl contenders. Like, not even just like opinion, just like in the ability to get to the Super Bowl. You need to, start off strong. You can't fight back every single year. And we have 5 years of Frank Reich fighting back, having to fight back because the starts are so slow. Yes, there is a new quarterback every year, but the attitude is still there every single year as well. So just something that the Colts needed to change. And Jeff Saturday happened to be willing to take that call and make that move possible. Now, the thing with Jeff Saturday is people are saying that he had, no resume, no paid dues, no grinding it out or anything like that, like most other head coaches. And if you think that this is the easiest path to becoming a head coach, please go play 12 years in the NFL as a starting center. Play in a consistent playoff team. Play on a team that went to the Super Bowl. Play with Peyton Manning, who's one of the all-time great quarterbacks, and be one of the leaders on that team amidst those Pro Bowlers, amidst those Hall of Famers. So, yeah, that's not the easiest road to the head coach at all. So, obviously, this isn't even the full-on head coach position. This is just interim. And one of the things that allows is that the people that want to focus on, or that need to focus on calling plays for the Colts, or working with offensive linemen, or working with special teams, or working with defense and all those schemes along with it, without adding more responsibility on them, Jim Irsay was able to allow someone that can help utilize and run the system and lead the people in that locker room, which is the biggest thing that the Colts needed, is an attitude shift and a lot more accountability and, again, leadership. So Jim Irsay was definitely acting emotional, definitely wasn't a premeditated move from the beginning of the year or anything like that. But I do think it is a smart move. You have to be able to think on your toes in this league. And I'm glad that Jim Irsay has the gumption, the ability to say, I have this team. I'm going to follow every rule that I can to run this properly. But if I have an opportunity to add someone of Jeff Saturday into this locker room right now, I'm going to do it. So I definitely really like that move. But obviously I'm super biased. And so seeing everyone else talk about how Jeff Saturday, never coached in the NFL, never called plays in the NFL, never did any of that. Like, I get what you're saying, but the amount of coaching that Jeff Saturday did as a player is definitely qualifying enough to be able to say, you can do your job this way and you're going to do it right. I can trust you there, but I'm going to hold you accountable to that. So, the one thing I do love that has come from all of this, though, is people are calling out the hypocrisy of the sports casters and the people that are analyzing football that don't have, degrees from colleges, don't have 10 years experience before they got the job. You have Joe Thomas out there. You have Bill Cowher out there. Obviously, you more than likely know that those are the people throwing the biggest shade on Jeff Saturday right now. You have Joy Taylor saying crap about Jeff Saturday. I'm pretty sure that she doesn't have a long list of credentials for that job other than being someone that might make that company more money by being the face thereof. And they should do that. I have no problem with that kind of stuff. But to sit there, Joe Thomas never being able to go to broadcasting school or whatever, not, being an assistant to a broadcaster or some intern or anything like that, and be able to be given a job, paid, very well for that job, and then turn around and say, well, you can't do that because this is not how it's done in your profession. Like, that to me is just, I'm glad that that's being called out. I see that a lot more being called out. So props for the people standing up for that kind of stuff. So, but other than that, I just wanted to talk more about what Jeff Saturday means to the Colts this year. And it is looking like it's not a tank move, right? If it was a tank move, we could have easily lost, put ourselves in a better position for a draft pick. But that's the one thing that I hate about tanking is, yes, on paper, it is better to have the number 1 overall pick than the 17th overall pick when you're going into the draft. No one's going to disagree with you there. But you're going to piss a lot of people off in the locker room if you're doing a tank job that somewhat resembles a tank job. if Jim Irsay, hired Bubba Ventrone to run it, and the Colts were just losing and losing, people are going to get pissed and you know deject from the team essentially. But Jim Irsay, with this move, I feel like he has made the locker room closer. And rather than people dejecting from the season and saying, well, I got to go get mine, we're not going to go to the playoffs, but I can put on some good tape, or, I can put up some stats here. The Colts are looking like a team instead of individuals. So that's the fear when you tank is you create a lot more individualism. You create a lot of people saying, if you're going to go and do, your business, I'm going to go and do my business too. And if you're, prioritizing a college athlete over your professional athletes that you're paying millions of dollars, there's something wrong with that. So, obviously, having a top pick is better when it comes down to the draft season. But in the long run of a franchise, it is definitely way better to keep your players happy and bought into the system rather than blowing everything up every year if you don't make the playoffs. So, just one of those things that I think is ridiculous. And yeah, it is fun to say, suck for luck. I definitely said that when Andrew Luck was coming up, or recently I'll say, behind the crowd for Stroud or something like that. It's good jokes, and it is fun to have excitement for the draft. But if you're looking at what's best for your team, 100% tanking is going to ruin teams unless you are going to change the coach and essentially change the whole organization. And the Colts can't afford to do that right now. We have way too many contracts to do that. And really, this draft has a lot of quarterback talent. And if we happen to not make the playoffs, we're going to be top 18. And when the Chiefs got Patrick Mahomes, they were able to trade up from, I think, 17 to number 10 to get Patrick Mahomes. Not saying that that's going to happen or that is a lock, but there are things that you can do instead of tanking to get a quarterback for the future, or players for the future and stuff like that. And just giving up on the year, selling players just to get draft picks, I think is just people not really understanding the people on the team or in the locker room, and they're just seeing the Madden strategy of get better picks, tank for the season, do all that kind of stuff so you get the better player in the draft. And it goes without saying, when you draft someone, there's no lock for that anyways. You can draft a Jared Goff, a Carson Wentz, top 2 picks in the NFL draft, and they're not with the same teams within the next 4 years. So you go with the people in your locker room over the draft 100% of the time. And I'm glad the Colts are showing that they're doing that. I am not super optimistic about the Colts making the playoffs. That's definitely a possibility that could happen. But we would have to pull off some wins that we haven't been able to do this year. And we would have to count on either the Titans losing games or a lot of the AFC East and AFC North teams losing games. So I'm expecting the Colts to end 8-8-1 right now. I expect them to have either the 17th or 18th overall pick. And if Matt Ryan is not on fire by the end of the year, or he is just looking like he is way too old again, then I do see the Colts getting a draft pick, moving up for a quarterback potentially. And one of those quarterbacks I think could be either a Hendon Hooker or an Anthony Richardson, depending on how the evaluations go this summer. But if you stuck to the end, hopefully I gave you enough energy so that way you're involved with the video. But comment, please, on what you think about the Colts, what you think about Jeff Saturday, and what you feel about the Colts' chances at the end of the year. Other than that, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, again, please subscribe. It helps us out a ton. Thank you.